Some bizarre piece of news. So in California, they have passed a law that says that all operating systems need to have some age verification when you set up your account, even including Linux. And people are kind of wondering how will they enforce it. So it seems like they made and passed this law without really thinking how it would be practically working, so quite bizarre. Here we have the article. A new California law says all operating systems, including Linux, need to have some form of age verification at account setup. I wonder how the government of California plans to enforce it. The author writes, look how proud he looks when he has passed this amazing law. And here we can read, the government of California is implementing a law that requires operating system providers to implement some form of age verification into their account setup procedures. And this bill was approved by California Governor Gavin Newsom in October of last year and becomes active of January 1st, 2027. So now all developers need to hurry and implement this before the beginning of next year. Hurry, implement age verifications now. The bill states, among other factors, that an operating system provider shall do all of the following. 1. Provide an accessible interface at account setup that requires an account holder to indicate the birth age, or both, of the user of that device for the purpose of providing a signal regarding the user's age bracket to applications available in covered application store. And the second point, what they also need to do, provide a developer who has requested a signal with respect to a particular user with a digital signal via reasonably consistent real-time application programming interface that identifies at the minimum which of the following categories pertains to the user. The categories are broken into 4 sections. Users under 13 years of age, over 13 years of age, under 16, at least 16 years of age, and under 18, and at least 18 years of age. So somehow they need to be able to identify this. I wonder, like, with what method? Shall they just ask or do some ID verification? Or it seems a bit pointless if it's just asking. It's like the famous like Steam age verification, like if we check that Steam GTA, and then if we go to here, oh no, we need to confirm our birth date, how old are we, and then people just scroll here, leave it at January 1st, view page, oh, we have verified our age. I wonder if this is what they now need to implement in operating systems to be legal in California, or what kind of system they envision here. In essence, while the bill doesn't seem to require the most egregious forms of age verification, face scans or similar, it does require OS providers to collect age verification of some form at the account user creation stage, and to be able to pass a segmented version of that information to outside developers upon request. Yeah, so that will be extra development for operating systems. Like on Linux, there is no concept of that with age verification. I have never heard of any application that like limits the amount of things you see in application on Linux depending on your age that you have specified. And then it continues, that's likely no big deal for Windows, which already requires you to enter your date of birth during the Microsoft account setup procedure. However, the idea that all operating system providers need to comply in California has drawn a fair degree of ire from certain Linux communities. This is basically impossible for California to enforce, says 𝗘𝗺𝗏 on the Linux Mint subreddit. Even if Linux Mint decides to add some kind of age verification to comply with California law, there is no reason anyone would choose that version. And so this user here on Reddit writes, what really scares me is that we have lawmakers stupid enough to propose a law like this. This is basically impossible for California to enforce. Worst case, they're too stupid to know that. Best case, it is performative. Even if Linux Mint decides to add some kind of age verification to comply with California law, there is no reason anyone would choose that version. There are hundreds of other jurisdictions in which Mint operates that don't require this kind of stupidity. It's more likely that they will put a disclaimer on the website, not for use in California. And then it continues here in the article, looking at the wider picture, however, mandatory age verification appears to be a growing trend. The UK government's current implementation under the Online Safety Act has come under heavy fire for privacy concerns, while platforms like Discord have received similar critique for their face scanning age verification efforts, not least because of associations with companies that may not be using the collected data for mere age verification purposes. Yeah, they might be selling the data to other companies. And like they say here, it's kind of bizarre that having a California version of your Linux distro, but what restricts you from downloading the non-California version, and how will the government know what kind of version of the operating system you install on your computer, and if you are honest with when you enter your age. Like, it's such a meaningless law that they're adding. And while this implementation is California specific, it does speak to a wider desire from governments to enforce age verification on a legal level, even if in this case it seems virtually impossible to effectively enact. So quite bizarre news indeed. It will be interesting to see what happens on January 1st the next year, if any Linux distributions will try to enforce this or comply with this law, that they need to verify the age, or if they will just let be. And yeah, it will be interesting to see how the government responds to that, if there is no age verification, and what kind of level of that age verification will they have? Is it just that Steam age verification where you just enter your date of birth, or will they have to like provide some ID or something? Or yeah, how would they enforce it? It's such a bizarre news, and it's kind of worrying that there are governments like this with officials that have been elected who don't know anything about technology, seemingly, that pass these kind of ridiculous laws that cannot be enforced. And yeah, it seems a bit weird. But what do you think? Are you looking forward to this California version? Will you install a California Linux Mint if there is one? Please let me know in the comments, and we will see each other another time. Bye bye!